the Death Note movie. There's a lot I want to discuss in this video, in this rant. Because I will say this, never in my life have I ever been pissed off to the extent I was when viewing Death Note on Netflix. You know, I saw the trailer during the summer, figured, okay, they're not going to be 100% like the anime. You know, they're going to have some creative liberties. So I figured, you know, I don't have much faith in this film. The least I'll do is go in with an open mind and try to be fair, okay? As soon as the movie starts, we see Light writing out homework. He exchanges it with another student for money. And right off I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is not going to go well. They're not doing Light right at all. And he goes into the parking lot. You know, Mia is with them, who's supposed to be Misa from the anime. And another student is being pursued by a bully who goes out through a door in a building and falls down, and the bully tries to take his cash, and Mia confronts him. And it's at that point when Light decides to give this speech to him. I would take it that he was using it as an attempt to get the bully to back off by saying, you know, you're 18 and I'm still a minor, so if you hit me, technically that could be considered child abuse. So he tells him, you know, back off, dude. And I'm thinking to myself, why did you bother giving that speech? Okay, you see him antagonizing this student, trying to steal his money. He's not going to listen to reason at all, and he's obviously not going to back off if he has the guts to pick on another student. So why not just simply punch the bully? That's what I would have done if I was in his situation. In fact, I wouldn't have waited for Mia to be in harm's way. I just would have gone right up to the bully, said, you know, back off it, and a second later, slug the guy. Okay, that's what I would have done if I was in Light's position. But obviously, Light did not do that. And what happened? He got knocked to the curb. And moments later, a teacher comes out. She finds his backpack open, the papers that have been written, and he's in the principal's office. And it's coming close to the 5-minute mark. The principal tells to Light, you know, why cheating, you know? And it's at that moment when we get the exposition of Light's mother dead. And right away I had to pause the movie. It's like, as soon as I heard Light's mother was dead, I'm like, nope, pausing this sucker. I need to step away. I need to breathe. Because this is not Death Note. It is not, okay? I was visibly angry because I love Death Note, and I don't care if they Americanized it, if they took certain characters, but you had to kill off his mom. You had to give him a reason why he is seeking justice at all. You know. So, after taking a few minutes to just, you know, relax, calm myself, I went back to viewing the movie again. Okay? And then we got to the moment when Light used the Death Note. And this is what had me scratching my head, okay? I thought for sure that Light would use the Death Note before Ryuk, the death god Shinigami, will show up. No. He shows up almost immediately after the teacher leaves. Which, by the way, when he went to grab the Death Note after the teacher slams the books on his desk and says, if you're asleep when I come back, that's another day that will be added. So she steps out, and he pushes the books off his desk and grabs his Death Note, and I'm going, oh my god, he's going to kill the teacher. He's going to write the teacher's name down and bump her off. No, he doesn't. He comes across to Ryuk, and I go, okay, why is Ryuk here? In the anime, Light had used the Death Note a couple of times before we got the exposition from Ryuk of saying, here are the rules for the Death Note. No. He shows up, he goes, why don't you use it, oh, this is a dream. If this is a dream, then you can have some enjoyment out of it. And it comes to the point where he's trying to, you know what? No, I don't want to do it. Thanks. Not interested. No. He uses, as soon as Ryuk says, okay, here's a pen, here, write someone's name down. He looks out there. He eggs on Light to say, I know you want to help her. You do. You want to help her. Write his name down. Do it. Okay, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, they're going to come up with a creative kill. Our first kill in the movie. Okay, let's see how it goes. And it's this drawn out, elaborate death sequence where a lady's bag rips open, and I'm thinking, okay, how did that bag get torn? Nothing poked it, nothing was in it that stuck out to make a hole. Nothing. It just out of nowhere broke open, caused another individual to drop their basketball. The basketball rolled out of the street, got underneath a woman's vehicle. She swerves to miss the person, and then someone else in a van with the ladder up on top crashes into her vehicle, and a short distance away, the student in question that's going to be killed off, the ladder flies off and takes the top half of his head off. And I'm speechless. Not because I didn't think it looked good at all. Meaning, I was speechless because it made no sense. Okay, I have actually used a ladder like the one that was in the film. I know how it feels, the weight of it. Nothing in it, given that that it's metal. People who haven't even used a ladder like that will automatically think, okay, it's got a good amount of weight to it. Trust me, from my account, it doesn't at all. No heavy weight to it, and based off the speed and the distance from the van to where the student was, that's not enough force to take someone's head off. It's not, okay? If anything, it would knock him to the ground. That is it. Not even possible, okay? And then when they fast forward to when Light is in his room after having an argument with his father, this is when Ryuk is given the rules, okay? And he points to one of them being Rule 28. All deaths must be physically possible. And I say right then and there, then explain to me how you did that first kill. Because a ladder cannot take someone's head off. especially the ladder that was used in that sequence. It's not physically possible. So where's the rule in the Death Note for breaking your own rules? And then they include this, rule, which I'm not even entirely sure is even in the anime or the manga, because I just recently started reading the manga, and it's been a while since I've actually seen the anime, a couple of years, where Ryuk says, okay, if you don't have the Death Note for 7 days, then I'll take it back and give it to someone else. Doesn't bring up the Shinigami eyes. Doesn't mention that, you have to write down the cause of death within a few minutes after writing their name, and you have to picture their face when writing their name down. That way you're not killing everyone else that has that name. They don't bring up those rules, because that if you have the Death Note if you don't have the Death Note for a certain amount of days, then he'll take it back. And nowhere does he say that, if you kill them, if you're going to kill them, write their name down. After writing their name down, you can burn the page. That wasn't even in Death Note. So that was something that they made up, to where if you wanted to reverse it, then, rip out the page and burn it. Because, if they're going to do a reversal, in my personal opinion, I think that they should have just taken an element from the concept of the manga, which didn't involve light. It was about a junior high student who came across the Death Note, and Ryuk mentioned that, if you want to erase someone's name, I've got this special eraser you can use. Use that to take off their name. That would have been an interesting way of shooing in an element from the manga. But no, they didn't do that. And when Light was going over the Death Note, there is a page in there that read, don't trust Ryuk. And he asks Ryuk this question, but Ryuk, brushes it aside, and I'm going, okay, why hasn't this been addressed? I expected at some point later in the film that there would be like some revelation to explain why you can't trust this death god. They never do, okay? And another thing that got under my skin with this movie was there's several points in the film where Ryuk is eating apples and he's tossing the apple core on the floor, and Light picks up the apple core and he just stares at it like, before moving to look at Ryuk or have Ryuk reveal himself. And I'm going, in the anime, Light Yagami made it clear, if you're going to eat apples, eat the entire apple, including the core. Leave nothing behind, because he didn't want anything to tie him to it, or to the death god, or he was using every measure possible to prevent anything being linked or tied to the crimes. Because if they come across the apple core and analyze it, they might find some kind of residue from the death god, and then start, looking into what could cause that, and the Death Note info might come up in research. Who knows? Light was just being precautious in there. Here, he just picks up the apple cores, looks at them, it's like, okay, made no sense. And then comes Mia, okay? Forget the fact that they decided to drop the S and not call her Misa, okay? No, her name is Mia. And they, for some reason, I can't fathom why, they took part of Light's personality, his dark personality, and gave it to her. Where, you know, there are certain moments in the movie where Light is, you know, feeling conflicted and going, should I keep doing this? Should I just get rid of the Death Note? Should I quit? You know, and Mia is like, you know, well, I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm perfectly fine with using it. You know, we need to start killing more people. You know, she's all into it, and Light is like, he's nothing like Light in the anime. I mean, throughout the progression of the story, he becomes more and more arrogant and dark in his pursuit to make the world a better place by using the Death Note. Here, as soon as L pops up on the TV, he's like, oh shit, this is going to get tied back to me. We got to get rid of that Death Note. We got to stop using it. You know, I don't want to go to jail. You know, he's freaking out. And she's like, you know, just find out who he is, we'll kill him. And there was even a moment where Light's father is on TV going, you know, I don't know whoever you are, Kira, but you can strike me down here and someone else will take my place. And Mia took that as a direct challenge, going, okay, where's that Death Note? I'm going to write his name down. And Light's like, you can't do that, that's my dad. Because here you actually feel for a moment that he loves his father. And in the anime, Light was willing to take any chance, plan every possibility out to thwart his pursuers. And this even included his father. So if he was willing to take his father down, then that told you a lot about Light as a character. Okay, but here his one drawback is that family means something to him. So you can't kill my dad. Off limits. And then came L, who was the biggest drawback in this movie. I mean, I'll say this about L: they got his love for candy down right, but in terms of detective skills, the character falls flat. Okay, take for example the first meeting between L and Light's father. In the anime, L did not even meet Light's father face to face. I mean, it was I believe it was on a laptop, and his voice was going through a mic with the black screen and the letter L in the center, and he was saying, you know, here's all this information, and you know, basically L wanted to verify who was not Kira, and when that was cleared, then he would meet a select few people in public and make sure that they arrived there in secret so that no one followed them, and basically told them, you know, all the information you hear from me here stays in here. You know, do not discuss it with anyone else. And then came their surveillance. And I mean, L took his time in vetting people. That's what I liked about L in the anime. Here in the film, he shows up to the Seattle Police Department. He's got a file with him, and he provides no identification saying, you know, I'm a detective. You know, no, he's sitting there. He's got a part of a mask, you know, covering his nose down to his chin, and I think he's got a hoodie on, and he says, I infiltrated your network. Here's the files. And I'm going, you provide no identification who you are that tells Light's father that you have the authorization to get these files. You don't know who Kira is. You don't provide any proof to the head of the police department that you're not Kira. Because going through his mind, he could be looking at Al here and going, this person could be Kira, and trying to put the blame on someone else. How do I know this guy isn't Kira right in front of me? No, does he cuff him? No, he doesn't. He flat out, Al flat out admits to hacking the Seattle Police Department, hands the evidence to the head of the police department, I think his name was James Turner. And James goes, are you telling me that you hacked the Seattle Police Department? And viewing that entire scene, I'm going, why haven't you cuffed him already? Why haven't you put him in police custody and had him questioned? Okay? Because not only does he not act like L, he does not, like I said, provide any proof that he's a detective, that he's not Kira. He just goes, okay, I'm just going to go out there, talk to the public, challenge Kira on camera. And that is it in that scene. And then as the movie goes further ahead, L becomes more unstable, and especially in the moment where he, by not having any solid proof that Light is Kira, goes to his home, has a search warrant, and this is after his comrade has gone missing. He basically acts like a little child, flailing his arms, going, I know you did something with them. I told you this would happen if you didn't return him safely to me. Your son is Kira. And he ends up turning his back onto the table, flailing his arms around like a spoiled brat who didn't get a toy at a toy store. He goes to the toy aisle and grabs the toy and goes to his parents going, can I get this? And they're like, no. It's like, but I want it. It's like that. No calm, collective attitude with L. He doesn't act professional as a detective. He's not quick thinking like L. And I'm going, why did they try to take characters from this source material and then do their own spin? If anything, they could have completely Americanized it with Ryuk, the Shinigami, the Death Note, and just have every other character not even be related to the source material. I would have been fine with that, and then have the film end with Ryuk obtaining the Death Note and then dropping it back to Earth and having it land in Japan and have Light Yagami, the Light Yagami from the source material, find it and have that be as another like a cliffhanger to lead into another movie. I would have been happy with that. That would have been a great story element or perspective that they could have done and still be faithful, because with this property you could use but have it be in any setting, have any characters you want in it, and not have it be based on the manga. Or like I said, Americanize it, but then end it tying into the source material, so then someone else could then go, okay, we're gonna have it be about the Light Yagami, and this other actor that was playing Light, they could have named him someone else. I would have been fine with that. But obviously they tried to shoehorn these anime characters in by not really calling them their actual names. You know, Light Yagami is not Light Yagami. He's Light Turner. The only two characters in here that I remember that were from the source material were named L and Ryuk. So many problems with this film, and one of the plot holes that made no sense to me was after Light's home is ransacked, and it cuts to Light in school. He's concerned, like, we know, if that Death Note isn't recovered, you know, I'm dead. You know, because Ryuk said that, you know, whoever gets the Death Note next, I'm going to encourage them to write your name in it. And Mia says, you know, basically having a little note and a top hat saying, I have it. And then later at the dance, you know, goes, you know, I wrote in the Death Note that your heart is gonna stop. So go get my Death Note, and I'll get rid of the page. And I'm going, okay, you want the Death Note, okay? Why didn't you simply keep the Death Note? Because Light said, if that Death Note is out of my hands for 7 days straight, it's going to go to somebody else. Well, then why blackmail him into handing over the Death Note by saying, you know, you're going to die if you don't give it to me? Just keep the Death Note. 7 days go by, it will no longer be in his possession, and then you can have it. You didn't have to go through all that effort. But obviously they did that because they got to stretch the movie out. And then at the last minute, in the climax of the movie, they decided to go, you know what, we're going to have Light have this, you know, genius, you know, planned ahead, you know, strategy, you know, where he writes in the Death Note real quick, okay, Mia's gonna do this, you know, if she takes the Death Note, this is gonna happen. If she takes it, you know, I'll fall into the water, then someone will cover me, resuscitate me, I'll be in a medically induced coma for 2 days. And when you did that at the last minute, and on top of that, you skipped over a huge chunk of the source material. You left out certain characters. You basically tried to cram in the entire arc of Death Note in this, you know, 100-minute movie, because it was an hour and 40 minutes long. And then at the last minute, go, okay, we got to throw in something that is identified with what the character is like, what their personality is like. The movie is god awful. Okay, it took me maybe 4 sit-throughs to finish this movie. Terrible story setting, terrible characters. I don't know why they threw in these bits of 1980s movie tunes, you know. It's terrible, okay? I mean, I would say that it's worse than Dragon Ball Evolution. Because, I mean, given the characters in Dragon Ball Evolution, yeah, they screwed that movie up. But at least they threw in some parts of how certain characters acted, even though the movie is god awful and it's not even true to the source material. I mean, here there's nothing that points out to have the characters being done right or named right. I mean, at least with Evolution, Goku was named Goku. Chi-Chi was named Chi-Chi. Master Roshi, Master Roshi. Here, they changed up most of the names. And by the time it reached the 40-minute mark, I'm going, I've got an hour left of this movie. Can the end credits start, please? I want this movie to be over. This movie is a complete flop. I do not recommend you seeing this movie at all. It is so awful that I cannot fathom why the creators of Death Note praised it. They actually thought it was good. And the interviews for this, for the making of this film were, Adam Wingard saying, I'm doing this for the fans, I hope I please them, and they enjoy this movie. And the actor from Heroes said that they want to have this film be a faithful adaptation of Death Note, and I'm going, looking back, going, okay, none of that was true. It's not faithful at all. There's no words to describe how betrayed I feel. I mean, I knew from the get-go it wasn't going to be 100% like the anime, but to be this bad and visibly angry upon viewing it, I for the life of me, I cannot fathom why any people who have seen this movie, and I've come across some on social media who flat out say that they love it. And I'm going, have you seen the anime? Have you read the manga? Because I've seen the anime, and I just recently started reading the manga. Not even true. Not a true adaptation, not even close. So, I mean, those watching this review, this rant, what were your takeaways from doing this movie? If you've actually seen this movie, how did it make you feel? What are your thoughts? Write it in the comments down below. And now I've got to wash this bad taste of Death Note out of my mind. The only question is, how do I do it? The anime or the manga? Which one? And until next time, later.